Good day. Hope everybody's having a good one out there. If this is your first time to the channel, we like to find new music from all around the world, talk about it, listen to it, check it out, reacts, reviews, all sorts of stuff. We got tons of playlists of bands I guarantee you've never heard of, and music that you never knew you needed in your life, but I guarantee you're going to find something that is going to definitely blow your dome. Now, today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about some albums I don't think get talked about enough, especially today. And I think they were very important in the way that music is today. Like right now, hip hop and all that, as of recording this video, hip hop and all that is huge. It's got a very wide fan base. There's metalheads, people that are country fans. That it's really opened up its horizons and its fan base. Not saying that all these people like all of the rap and hip hop stuff that's out there, but it has definitely been a dominating force in the music industry. And I think two albums that, well, see, first we got Beastie Boys' License to Ill. Now, this came out November 86. And cool gatefold on it. Boom. This album was excellent. Now let's go a little thing. The No Sleep to Brooklyn was the album. Now, I think to some people they were like this like rap rock thing, which that was what was helping rap get into the mainstream. Now we had like Cooley and the Gang, and we had some some rap artists that had gotten to mainstream success to a certain extent, but there was a lot of still like under stuff that was kind of considered underground, NWA and all that stuff that Ice Cube and all that didn't really come to be about until after this album right here, which found its way into everybody's living rooms, and that's Run-DMC Raising Hell. This is their third album. It's referred to as their magnum opus. I know it to be the album that found its way into all the normies' living rooms. Now, this was also the album that bent the genres, and I think that's what helped it get into everybody's living rooms. Is everybody was, Aerosmith was trying to make their comeback, and it just so happened this band Run-DMC, they were on their third album. They had self-titled, they had Tougher Than Leather, which were albums that I retroactively learned about. But at that time, I had the two others on cassette, had Raising Hell on vinyl and cassette, and I think I even ended up having it on CD as well. The whole album is just awesome. It's still referred to today like It's Tricky, all that. It has that's Penn and Teller are in the video for It's Tricky, which is one of the most popular tunes off that. A lot of people give Walk This Way the credit, which that song helped that album get like pushed it over the mark. But this album already, these guys were the first ones to be making Adidas popular and all that before Korn ever even was thought of. And that's probably where Cohen got their inspiration for Adidas was Run DMC. I mean, Run DMC was, about as cool as it got in the 80s. And it was just, they defined. And after these guys pulled this off, they had basically taken a rock song, turned it into a rap song, but the rock song was already kind of a rap song. They just made it more of a rap song, but still kept rock elements. Even in the rest of the album, there's some rock elements thrown splashes in there throughout. It's some do call it like a genre bending album, and it was the perfect kind of blend of in the rap of its time, because that was when you know the older generation, like our parents, weren't really taking rap seriously. We were trying to tell them, what the Beastie Boys don't. No, this stuff's cool, man. You gotta, hear how cool this stuff really is, and they weren't really taking it seriously until this album came out, and they thought, well, if Aerosmith thinks it's cool, well, maybe I should take a closer look. Now, uh, my parents ended up, they had this album. Everybody I knew had this album in their collection, even if it was just for that one song. But the whole album, it's just from front to back. It's an awesome ride. If you haven't taken it, I totally highly suggest you do. But this album is basically number one. I don't care what anybody else says. This album is number one in their catalog. Um, Agree to disagree. Now, like I said, they had Tougher Than Leather, and the self-titled. These albums gained more notoriety after Raising Hell. That's just kind of the way things work. Like Nirvana Bleach, got popular after Nevermind was sold. Now, they did try to, where is it? Now, I also had The King of Rock, and this was when they had tried to do their comeback, was around 2001. Now, this was also tragically when a member was taken away from us in a very tragic way, um, which was very strange and random, because they weren't a part of that that the public knew of anyway, of gang activity. They were always really against that type of stuff. I mean, we're talking about Reverend Run and stuff, and so that took the whole music world by. It's like, whoa. But this they really tried to come into the new scene, because at the time, Limp Bizkit, all these, and a lot had happened in the time. But see, the thing was this album was the gateway for a lot of that. That was the album that made the 90s be dominated by Tupac, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, all that stuff that came out it's like it wasn't like there was a lot of rap stuff that was already out there and had videos and stuff, but it was like it was getting played in off hours, or like almost like a Headbangers Ball thing, and then and then all of a sudden it was they had Yo MTV Raps and all this stuff. They had whole segments of the day devoted to just rap and hip hop, and that's and the a lot of people might say, no, this album was the one that, no, I was there. And this album was the one that made it into normies, people that didn't even like rap, people that, thought rap was just this novelty thing, and that was just gonna, go away. And, it would be a fly by night kind of thing, like disco, maybe, and no, it went even further. It shaped into something else, and it did it, while they, it's like they crawled so everybody else could get up, walk, and run. And so on their Crown Royal, they had Fred Durst, they had Sugar Ray, Kid Rock, Nas, Prodigy, Fat Joe, Method Man. I mean, they had a bunch, and by this time, I mean, the Wu Tang Clan, all them, uh, had really started to take a foothold. I mean, I know there's a whole new generation of, people that listen to rap and hip hop that, it surprises me that they don't know about the history of, and where some of the, what paved the way for this stuff to get into the mainstream. It wasn't as taken as, it was more underground until Run DMC came in and really made it, approachable for everybody. And they did it with one single song, and then it made everybody want to listen to the rest. And then all of a sudden, It's Tricky became like an anthemy tune for, the 80s and even into the 90s, and it's still used today in videos when people, make it. It's just, it's one of them tunes that it sticks, it stays, it's got staying power. And, I really think, it's a shame that, I mean, I know these guys will live off royalties to the end of their days, and, they have a lot of, but they really were, and this album was the one that really paved the way. And with that coming out, along with the Beastie Boys, License to Ill, and then the follow up to that was Paul's Boutique, um, which really, it was like that cemented, Beastie Boys. And the thing with Beastie Boys is they played instruments and all that. So they were already in this weird place where people didn't know where to put them. Like, where do we put this band? They're like rap, but they're like rock. And so now, because of this, we have bands like, Linkin Park and all that stuff, that Limp Bizkit, and all these bands that we, this rap metal, this rap rock, all that stuff. You got to remember, like in the 90s, it got pulled off again with Public Enemy and Anthrax. They did Bring the Noise. And that was a big thing. I mean, that dominated the 90s too. There wasn't an hour that went by that wasn't played on MTV at some point, because it was like it melded the best of both worlds. And that song was basically dominated by, Chuck, that was a Public Enemy song just with Anthrax in it, and it was an awesome song, and I think they had done another one that was like a B-side that was very rarely talked about or heard. But anyway, the point is that same, formula got used again, and used again, until all of a sudden there were whole genres made just from this. This album started that. And, there's other albums that played a big part and got us to this, and like I said, Cooley and the Gang, we had all that stuff, a lot of the rap and stuff was like stuff that you'd hear like when you were at the roller skating place, and it was like just that perfect kind of, and it had like, disco elements, because, they were taking samples from it. And that's what they were, using a lot of. They were finding these, old albums, and taking and doing cool things with this music. And, they were a product of that time, but that was a part of the step. And then Run DMC ended up being that step that really put it over the top. And then record companies were like, I think we can do something with this. And then, like I said, Public Enemy with Anthrax. And then now you have a whole genre of music where bands are like, I just want to make music that's just like that. Rap, metal, rap, rock, boom. I don't want to just add some of the elements in. I want it to be that. I want that to be a genre now. And it's because of these guys that's the thing. Like I said, there's other players that played some, key parts in making, getting to where we are today. But this was the album that got into everybody's living room. I was there. I saw it. I was in everybody's house. It was the 80s. You know, everybody's doors were unlocked, you know. But anyway, it just, I wanted to take a minute to talk about this because, you know, I had, you know, obviously I recently, you know, got the album, and, you know, it just really made me think listening to it, you know, how, you know, it's one of the timeless albums, but it also has nostalgia to it, and it shows you where that bridge was. What was the moment? What was the, you know, where was the firecracker that started the chain reaction? And there you go. So maybe you learned something. Maybe you just been sitting here listening to me ramble about a rap band that you already knew all about, and I'm just, you know, some idiot sitting here talking about being old and being a kid and growing up in the 80s. But it's still, I think it's a very important album. It's important to me. It definitely uh shaped you know, the way I took music in, the way I appreciated rap and hip hop, and the way I, you know, I it kind of, it helped give me the standard that I held things to, you know, and it, like I said, it paved the way for Snoop Dogg and all that to come in and start doing cool things and putting these jazzy and neat elements into things and making their own kind of thing. They were given leverage to do that, and it was all because these guys helped lay the ground to do that. And yeah, it's you know, and they weren't you know, with like you know, Death Row Records or any of that. They were this album is Profile Records, which I think is a part of Geffen, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who they ended up being with anyway, but I'm not sure about that. Somebody could maybe correct me on that one. But yeah, let me know, how do you remember this album? Do you even know about this album? If you don't, go listen to it right now. What is wrong with you? Where have you been? Obviously under a rock or not born around that time. But no, if you listen to this album, even if you were somebody that was like born in the 2000s or whatever, you go back, you listen to this album, and you can see where all this stuff, it's like this is what gave the producers and stuff carte blanche to be like, yeah, we can do this. We can make this genre work, and we can put, and it gave it, and it let it just go. And like I said, the 90s were dominated. I mean, MTV, you know, if you didn't hear California knows how to party at least once a day, it was because you was sleeping. I'm serious. It was, you know, it really, it did. So yeah, thank you, Run DMC, and definitely go check this out. Check out Beastie Boys License to Ill. Any, you know, newer generations that haven't gone back and checked this out yet, you have to. I think it's just, it's kind of mandatory. Um and definitely aspiring rappers, definitely, it's, you know, it's a awesome bridge album to see that the album that bridged the gap, and this was the one that did it. But yeah, hope everybody out there's having a great day. Like I said, we usually talk about you know, finding new music from all around the world. If you got an artist or somebody that you'd like us to check out, definitely like, comment, subscribe, comment an artist, and we will get to them as soon as possible. Or if there's just an artist you'd like to talk about or whatnot, let me know, and we will get to them as soon as possible. We got a lot of stuff that's front loaded, so it might take a minute. But yeah, we definitely, we got a lot more awesome stuff to talk about, and a lot of awesome stuff to show you. And if you haven't, I don't care how they rank them. This is, and they even say it's their magnum opus. It's just the album that everything else is held to. And yeah, definitely, it's an album that you need to have in your repertoire, and you should definitely yeah, and yeah, and while you're at it, go check out the Beastie Boys License to Ill if you haven't already. Like, where have you been, really? Jeez. All right, Well, whilst you're doing that, I'm gonna get back to finding some more awesome music to show you. So have a great day out there. We got tons more news, reviews, reacts, all that. Like I said, invite you to subscribe, and you can find all sorts of awesome stuff. We got tons of awesome stuff to find around here, different playlists, stuff from all around the world. I guarantee you're gonna find something that you never knew you needed in your life, and stuff just I didn't even know people could do. Like, for real. Like, wow. So, but anyway, yeah. Have a great day out there, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.